Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the first day of the reading rush. It's currently like 10 o'clock on Monday. I just drove my sister to the pool. She's teaching swim lessons today, and they only last half an hour, so I thought I'd stick around and read a little bit while she's here. So I brought The Princess Bride. I just feel like watching the movie, and I want to read this first, so I thought this one would be a good one to start off with. I also am hoping it'll go pretty quickly. I have a lot to do this week, so I'm really counting on this weekend to get a lot of reading time in, and I guess I'm just gonna take you guys along with me while I try my best to meet all the challenges and read all the books I picked out for this week. I've been home for a couple hours now. I'm about 40 pages into The Princess Bride. I gotta say, I'm a little surprised by the story itself. I just started because there's a pretty long prologue that's kind of like in the vein of an author's note, but it's like part of the story. And the author seems to be a little like fatphobic. Like he's made a lot of jokes about like people's sizes already. I don't know. I'm not really feeling, I don't know if I'll read other stuff by this author is what I'm saying. And I think that the movie I might end up enjoying better because it like tells the story without all of these like asides, like these like side jokes that the author is putting in there that I'm not really a huge fan of. I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain because I'm also like enjoying the writing style. I don't really know. I'll keep you updated. I've been watching a lot of the vlogs from like Jenna Marbles' boyfriend Julian. I really, really like his channel. I love his vlogs. They're some of my favorites because they're not like the kind of vlogs where people go out and find something to do and then film it because they need something exciting. He just kind of documents the small parts of his day, and it just feels really like calming and genuine to me. So sometimes if I'm just not really feeling like doing anything, I like to just go back and watch his videos, and they're just really soothing. I don't know. So I will talk to you guys a little bit later. So I have about 20 minutes until I need to go pick up my sister from the mall and drive her to work again. So I'm going to see how much I can read until I have to head out. And this is Marcy. You've probably seen her in videos before. Actually, I don't know if she's been in any of these, but she's my baby and I love her. I don't know how well you can see her, but there she is. Let's get started. I got to page 78 before my sister called and asked me to come get her, so that's where I'm going to log off for now, and I will see you guys in a bit. Good morning, it's Tuesday, and it's like 9:30-ish right now. I already drove my younger sibling to work, and I came home, and now it's time to give you guys a little update. Yesterday was Malcolm's birthday. He turned 20, and so we had a purple-themed birthday party at my uncle's house last night.
And it said,
Are you vlogging?
No.
What are you doing?
None of your business.
Is it Snapchatting?
And it was really fun, and I also didn't read that much because I was at a birthday party. I am officially past the 200 mark, past the halfway point, and I'm at 212 pages in The Princess Bride. And I'm very conflicted because let me give you the cons first. Like I said in I think a previous clip, the fat jokes in here are a little uncomfortable, and by a little uncomfortable I mean a little bit too numerous. They just kind of pop up out of nowhere once you've forgotten about them, and then you're back and you're like, oof, that's not a really good, like, why do you have to describe them like that? And it's not like J.K. Rowling, like in the Harry Potter series, where all, like, like Dudley and Vernon Dursley are like both big and fat, but they're evil, you know, they're mean. It's not like that. It's like, it's more of a comedic take on it, kind of like in that one episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, if you know what I'm talking about. But it just still makes me very uncomfortable. And it's also, but it's so funny. I'm really, really enjoying it now that I'm in the story, because it's exactly the same kind of like nonsensical camp and self-awareness as the movie. Like, it's just the same except in book form, so there's more detail and you get to know more about like the backstories of Fezzik the Giant and Inigo Montoya, not the Sicilian, the Spaniard, like the fencer, and you get to learn more about the country that it's set in, and Prince Humperdinck and Buttercup. Like, you get to know like more backstory and more detail, and it's like really interesting and really funny, and I'm so conflicted because generally I think I'm gonna like the movie more, but in general I'm really, really liking it. I'm about halfway through. I'm gonna finish this up later today, and then I'm also gonna try and start my audiobook today, I think. Now I want to give you a little bit of a life update. I am a recent college graduate. I graduated from Temple University with a degree in journalism, and I'm currently trying to get a job real bad. And today I actually have an interview, a third interview for this position. And I had an interview last week as well. And basically what I'm trying to get at is, for both of these jobs that I'm up for, I have to do an edit test. In journalism and in like the publishing news industry, an edit test is pretty common when you're applying for a job, and it basically is like a small assignment where you have to find a certain number of stories, write a certain number of headlines, write captions, like do all that stuff, and do it in the style of the publication that you're applying for, so that they know that you are capable of doing the job that they want you for. And I have an interview today, and for the hour after that interview I'm going to be doing this edit test. And then I also have an edit test due on Thursday that was actually sent to me last week, and I have only just kind of started it, so I am going to be really focusing on those today. I don't know if I'm going to get like a lot of reading done in the next couple of days. I'm really banking on this weekend for a lot of reading time, but if I'm not updating you that much like later today or tomorrow on Thursday, which I am going to, but it just might not be like, and here's what I'm reading, and here's what I'm feeling. Like, it's just going to be like, and here's where I am because I'm stressed about my job prospects. It's going to be because I'm stressed about my job prospects, and I really want to do well on these edit tests. I think I can do them well, and I know I can. I believe in myself, but I need to put it on paper and make it actually happen. So that's what's going on in my life. Wish me luck. By the time you see this, it'll all be over, and I don't know, maybe I'll have heard back from one of them, but I'm really nervous, and I really want to get a job, and I really want to start, my career. Anyway, I'm going to get back to reading. I'm going to see you guys a little bit later, and yeah. I'm home. I had an interview at my uncle's house, and I think it went really well. After the interview, I did my edit test. I was super nervous, but at this point, it's just out of my hands, and that's like the best kind of place for it to be. So I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to deal with it anymore. I started The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman, which I'm reading for 2 challenges. It has more than 5 words in the title, and I'm reading it in the car, so it's all going to be in the same place. And Marcy right here is keeping me company. Yeah, it's just, I'm back into The Princess Bride right now, and I had some popcorn, and it's just been a pretty nice afternoon. Isn't that right? Hello, what's good? I finished The Princess Bride. I don't have the book with me because it's downstairs and I'm in my room, but I have the dust jacket, so I'm just going to hold this up. I really, really, really liked it. I thought it was so cute. I liked it a lot. I just kind of threw that, but it was exactly the kind of like humor that I really enjoyed. The book that I have is the 25th anniversary edition. That's 399 pages, but the actual story itself ends on page like 320, and that's where I stopped because there's like some stuff after it that I just started reading and wasn't interested in, and it's not part of the story, so I just was like, you know what? I'm just gonna let it fly because I don't feel like reading it. But I really liked it. I feel so conflicted about it. I would say again, like, if you want to read it, then definitely read it, but skip the prologue. The prologue's not worth it. It really is not. I'm also sorry my camera's moving so much, but I'm holding it in my hand, so what do you want to do? But yeah, I really liked it. I think I'm going to give it 4.5 stars. I don't know. I'm thinking that I might stop rating books in my videos until my wrap up, unless it's like a specific dedicated review. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like a lot of the times I end a book and I have a really positive reaction to the ending, so I rate it really high. And then a couple days go by and I'm like, I didn't even like that. Like, specifically, I'm talking about the Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, like that series. I read the whole series, and I gave 2 of those books 4 stars. I didn't like any of those books. I just specifically hated one and really liked the end of one of them. Like, I don't know why. Anyway, it's stupid. I'm just about to start Ink by Alice Broadway. Hopefully I will finish this tomorrow morning. I want to get at least halfway through tonight. So that's probably going to be like 150 pages. And I will keep you updated. Okay, I know you just saw me, but I started Ink and I'm like on the 2nd page. But I thought that these were like magic tattoos that just appear. It turns out that no, it's just literal tattoos, and the book starts off with her as like a baby getting a tattoo. Like, she's like 20 days old, and they're all like, you can't wait till she's 20 days old. You have to get it on like the 2nd day that she's alive. What are you gonna do? Why didn't she have a tattoo? And I'm like, chill. She's a baby. She don't need a tattoo. Not yet. It's just weird. Okay. So I'm like 25 pages in, and honestly, I'm just like really not feeling it. Like, I don't really like the writing, and the plot doesn't seem like it's going to be getting that interesting. I don't know. I'm going to keep reading it, but I'd be willing to put this book down and just switch it out for something else in the middle if I didn't like it. You know what I mean? I'm not too invested, and I don't think I'm going to be, but I'll let you know. Good morning. It is like 9:30. I drove my sister to work, and now I'm at home hanging out by myself. And I just wanted to, oh, that was a dog toy. I just wanted to give you guys a little update about like what I've been reading. Last night I read until page like 125 of Ink by Alice Broadway. I'm not really liking it. I'm not really vibing with the writing style. I think the plot is pretty basic. It's a little bit more gruesome than I was expecting. Like, this book, it has the weird premise of like everybody gets tattooed every time something significant in their life happens. And then once you die, you are turned into a skin book, which is like already gross, but there's a little bit more like gruesomeness in the story than I was expecting. Also, something about this book feels very like ambiguously inspired by like indigenous American tribes or things like that. And I believe the author is just a white woman from England. Yeah. And it's just, I'm really not feeling it. I'm honestly thinking about just putting it down, like DNFing it and just reading another book. But I'm already halfway through, you know, and it shouldn't take that long to read. I'm for sure not going to continue with the series at all, but I'm curious maybe to see where this is going to go. Honestly, I'm not even curious. I'm just reading it to have it done. Also, I just think the cover's ugly. I only picked it up because I personally am obsessed with tattoos, but the way the tattoos are portrayed in this book is not Everything is weirdly spiritual, but I will keep you updated. Isn't that right, Marcy? We're just chilling. We're just hanging out. Hi again. I finished it. I didn't like it. I'm probably gonna go eat some food now. And it was just boring. It wasn't very interesting. None of the relationships between the characters were interesting. She was like miraculously interested in this one guy, even though they only show them talking to each other twice, and actually the book only shows when they meet up, and then there's a scene cut and you never actually see them talk. So that's awesome. Also, an update about The Ocean at the End of the Lane. I'm 24% into the audiobook. It's fine. It's not particularly interesting, but it's not particularly boring. And Neil Gaiman is narrating the audiobook, so that's kind of nice, but it's just okay. I'm listening to it in the car while I drive my siblings to work and to home and all around town. So I'm probably going to end up finishing it by Friday for sure. Hi, baby girl. Are we relaxing? Are we trying to manage in this heat with no air conditioning? What a good girl. Hello again. It is sometime after 3 o'clock on Wednesday, day 3. I've finished 2 books, and I'm going to start the 4th book. So I'm going to read Life and Death by Stephanie Meyer next. I just want to read something that I know I'm going to like, and I know I'm going to like this because I unironically enjoy Twilight. So I'm excited for this. I also think it's super funny that on the first page it says Life and Death, a reimagining of the classic novel. What? Calling yourself a classic is a little bold there, Stephanie. I'm going to do this. I've been moving. I'm a little sweaty because I moved out of my apartment this weekend, and so there was a lot of boxes in our front room here, and my mom got a little fed up and told me to put them in the basement. So I've been carrying things up and down, and now I'm going to chill. I've also decided that I'm not going to feel bad about liking The Princess Bride. I enjoyed it, and I really loved it. It's the best book I've read so far this week, and I am probably definitely going to read it again someday. And I'm going to watch the movie tonight probably, and it's all going to be awesome. So for those of you who may have forgotten, Life and Death is the gender-swapped Twilight story, and I just opened the book and realized that the end papers on the Life and Death side are like clean lines and whatever, and then on the Twilight side, where Bella's the main character, they kind of look like they've been made more feminine. They literally gendered the end papers. I'm dying. I'm 16 pages in, and boy, Bella has just seen all of the Cullens for the first time. How is it that she is so bad at picking out names? How is it that Twilight, all the characters in Twilight have like the most basic, normal names ever? And then in this book, the Cullens are Archie, Edith, Eleanor, Jessamine, and Royal. Royal? Rosalie's boy name is Royal? Not to mention that Bella's name is Beaufort. Love that. Back to reading. Hello again. It is after 10 o'clock, and I'm just here to check in with you one last time before I read and then get ready for bed. So I am about 150 pages into Life and Death, and honestly, it's not bad. I will say it's shocking to me how few times Beau and Edith, or like Bella and Edward, like interact actually before you get that like big confession of I know what you are kind of moment, because they really only talk like 3 or 4 times. And it's just funny to realize that. I will also say that she really done changed some of the most iconic lines. So I might expose myself for just being able to quote it, but the line where it's like about 3 things I was absolutely certain. First, Edward was a vampire. Second, there was a part of him, and I didn't know how big that part might be that thirsted for my blood. And 3, I was irrevocably in love with him, or whatever, right? This is what she changed it to. There were a few things I knew for sure. For one, Edith was an actual vampire. For another, there was a part of her that saw me as food. But in the end, none of that mattered. All that mattered was that I loved her, more than I'd ever imagined it was possible to love anything. She was everything I wanted, the only thing I would ever want. It has a nice ending there, but there was a part of her that saw me as food is like the funniest line I've ever read in my entire life. And that's really where I am with this book. It's Twilight, so I didn't get to watch The Princess Bride today, and that was kind of sad. I'm definitely going to do that. It's going to have to be tomorrow night or Friday. I don't really know. Oh, another thing. I just keep remembering things to say. I wasn't really expecting there to be so much body horror in The Ocean at the End of the Lane. I was listening to it, and I was like, why are so many things that I'm like picking up this week like gruesome? Like I would consider Ink to definitely, I mean, it's YA, so it's maybe like it's not that like, no, I would say there's body horror. Like, it's pretty like, ugh. And The Ocean at the End of the Lane isn't any better. I'm getting through it pretty quickly. I'm already 2.5 hours into the audiobook, so I should be finishing it up like pretty fast, but geez. Hopefully I was gonna say that hopefully I enjoy the book I'm reading right now more, but it's basically Twilight, so we already know I'm gonna like it. So hopefully I like the other book that I picked to read after this one, which is The Countess and the Cowboy, which is like a Western romance. We'll see. Good night. Right now it is just about midnight, and I did want to pop in for a final update before I go to sleep. But basically, Life and Death is really cute. It's funny to like really see the differences. So it feels like they kind of like dumbed Beau or Bella's character down in this version. Like, a lot of the inner monologues in Twilight where Bella is trying to figure out things about Edward or about the people in Forks, you kind of just skip over those in Life and Death. So Beau just seems a little bit dumber, a little bit dopier. I find it kind of endearing, so I'm not too miffed about it, but there was just a couple times when he said something and I was like, when did he even figure that out? Like, when did he first even think of that? I don't know. It was weird. Edith is really cool. A lot of the things about Edward are the same in Edith. Obviously, it's the same character. But, like, the fact that she's so strong and kind of, like, weirdly mysterious is, like, really cool to see. But also, the way she's written in this book makes her seem almost a little bit too inhuman. Like, in Twilight, you really... I can't believe I'm, like, analyzing this, but in Twilight, Edward really does seem like he's, like, reconnecting with his human roots, you know? Like, he's acting irrationally and doing this and doing that, and he actually seems interested in Bella before they actually start, like, seeing each other. And Edith is just a little bit too perfect. She's a little bit too inhuman and cold in the way that she talks and the way that she's acting. And I would also say that I can't really tell why she's interested in Beau. Like, I don't know. I can't really tell. But it's cute. I'm liking it. I'm gonna finish it probably tomorrow morning, first thing. And I might even just read Twilight right after. But, yeah. And I'm gonna go to sleep now because I'm really tired. Good night. Good morning. It's day 4 of the reading rush, so Thursday, and I just got back from driving my sibling to work. Before I start the day, I just want to give you all a little update about what I've been reading. So last night I got to page like 250 of Life and Death, and now I'm at like page 300. I'm really enjoying it. Like, I'm realizing as I go that I don't think I've actually, like, sat down and completely reread Twilight, like, since the first time I read it. Like, I've gone back and read, like, parts of it before, because, you know, I like to go back and read my favorite parts of books, but I haven't gone back and, like, actually reread the book, like, since the first time I read it. And honestly, I'm thinking that as soon as I finish Life and Death, I kind of want to just go and read Twilight. Hi. My camera. Yeah. So I think I'm just gonna read Twilight after this because I want to, and maybe watch the movie also. And I'm eventually gonna watch the Princess Bride movie. Probably not today. I don't know. I'm also now officially more than halfway through The Ocean at the End of the Lane. I'm a little torn about it. Mostly, I'm not really liking it. It's very scary, so it's doing a good job doing that. But it is scary and frustrating, kind of based on a plot device that I personally really, really dislike. Like, I know everybody hates in stories when a kid has parents that just don't believe them or undermine them, but think that they're good parents. And it just really, really bugs me, and I'm just not enjoying that. But we just got to a part in the story where the main character, a young boy, is staying at the house of these, like, 3 magical ladies who, like, live in a house at the end of the lane. And just this part is really nice because they're just casually using, like, old magic, and it's just very interesting, and it has, like, a warm feeling. And I know that's because, like, he's finally out of his house where this fae, I don't really know what she is haunting their family. But I don't know. This part is nice, but I know he's gonna have to go back to his house eventually, and I just don't want to read about him being in fear of his house anymore. I don't know. I also have an edit test due today, so I'm going to be working on that a lot. I don't know how much reading I'm going to get done, and I don't know how much I'm going to update you. So wish me luck, because I really need to do a good job. So I finished Life and Death, and she done changed the ending. She really, like, completely changed how the book ends. I was shook while I read it. I was reading it, and I was like, this doesn't seem right. What's happening? Oh my fucking god. It was really good. It was sadder in some ways and happier in some ways than the end of Twilight, but it basically wraps up the story. Like, the way that Life and Death ends doesn't require a new moon or eclipse or a breaking dawn. So it's a standalone, basically. And I was like, oh my god, that was a bold move. There's been a lot of bold choices being made with this book, and I gotta say, I'm a fan. I'm pretty into it. And I'm gonna read Twilight now. Hi, so it's like after 7 in the evening, and I am so incredibly behind on my edit test. I should have probably turned it in a couple hours ago, and I'm not even halfway done, and I'm really freaking out about it, which means I haven't read anything. I read the first 3 chapters of Twilight earlier today before I ate lunch, and I just haven't read anything since then. I went to the bank with my mom, and I took the car that I've been driving to get serviced, and generally it has been an afternoon full of me avoiding what I'm supposed to be doing. And I'm going to get right back into what I'm supposed to be doing as soon as I finish washing all the makeup I slapped on off of my face. And since now is the only time that I'm gonna be doing this video thing, I wanted to bring you here with me. You can tell I really got distracted because, like, look at my arm. What is that? Hi again. I wanted to wrap up my days 1 through 4 reading vlog for this readathon. It's actually like 4 in the afternoon on Friday, but I haven't done anything yet today, so I thought that now would be a good time to wrap this up. First of all, I got a job offer, which is super, super cool. The place that I interviewed with on Tuesday reached out and said they were interested. I'm not responding yet. I'm waiting to hear back from the place that I sent the edit test to yesterday. And it's really awesome. Like, for some reason, I never like actually thought that I'd get a job. I thought I was just going to suffer forever, but I'm so excited. Yeah, that's really all I've been doing today. I haven't read anything, and it's like so late on Friday, but I'm going to go over the books that I read so far this week and what challenges they meet, and then we can get started on the second half of this whole shebang so that this video doesn't end up being too long. The first thing I read this week was The Princess Bride to meet the challenge of reading and watching a book to movie adaptation. I really, really loved the book. I thought it was super funny and super cute, and I can't wait to watch the movie. I'm going to do it today. I'm saying that right now, and you'll see that in the next vlog. The next thing I read was Ink by Alice Broadway, and I didn't like that, and that fulfilled the challenge of reading an author's debut. The other book I completed is Life and Death by Stephanie Meyer. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was super fun and kind of stupid, but you know, enjoyable, and that fulfilled the challenge of reading a book with a non-human main character. Other than that, I started The Ocean at the End of the Lane, which meets the challenge of a title with 5 or more words, as well as reading all in the same place, because I'm just listening to it while I drive. And then I also started reading Twilight, like as soon as I finished Life and Death yesterday. I just turned around and started reading Twilight, but I'm only like 2 chapters in. And that is going to be all. I will see you in part 2 of my readathon vlog. So, thanks for watching. Bye!
I didn't read anything on Friday because I'm sick. I'm a sick bitch. And it's also like 6:30 on Saturday, and I haven't read anything yet today either. So I'm not making a second vlog, and I'm just gonna add like 5 minutes onto the end of this one of what I'm doing today and tomorrow, because it's really not that much. I just showered, and I'm gonna go downstairs and finally fucking watch The Princess Bride, because I want to, and I'm going to. And then I'm going to stop reading Twilight because it doesn't like finish any new challenges for me. And then I'm going to read the last book on my TBR, which is The Countess and the Cowboy, and I'm gonna read it all in one spot so that I don't have to listen to The Ocean at the End of the Lane anymore, because this book has purple on the cover, has more than 5 words in the title, and I'm gonna read it all in the same spot because it's pretty short. So that is my plan for the next 2 days. I will keep you updated, but it's not gonna be that much updating because, as you can see, I sound like death. Hi. I wanted to give you a little update. I started The Countess and the Cowboy. It's going super fast, and I actually really like it, which is surprising since I haven't had too much luck with like historical Western romances before. But let me tell you what this is about. Basically, there is a woman named Eve Townsend, and she was married to an earl in England, and when he passed away, was kind of cut off from her the money she would have gotten in his will. So she decides to come to Wyoming to live with her sister, who had moved out west 11 years ago with her husband, who was looking for, like, you know, money in the American wilds. But so she gets there, and her sister has passed away in childbirth, and she's trying to settle into this town. At the same time, there is a rancher nearby named Clint Lonigan, who considers Eve's brother-in-law his enemy. He is one of a group of smaller ranchers who are trying to survive in this county, whereas Eve's brother-in-law is one of the larger cattle barons who is trying to force all of these smaller farmers off their land and is stealing their cows and all that stuff. So I am 72 pages in, and Clint is trying to recruit Eve to be a spy in the house where she's living, and it's actually pretty interesting. I like it. I just finished The Countess and the Cowboy. I read it all right here in this kitchen chair, and it was cute. The beginning, I think, had a lot of promise, and the end was like a little bit. I know, it's a romance and there's supposed to be a happily ever after, but the ending was just, the epilogue was like a little bit too, like, everything's wrapped up perfectly, you know what I mean? My only complaint is that the one sexy scene was like not great at all. And because the book is so short, it's 280 pages, but like it's pretty big typing and like pretty big spacing. It felt like their relationship moved unrealistically fast with like no conversation. Like, I know it's a romance, everything's unrealistic, but it was just like a little bit too sudden. You know what I mean? So anyway, finishing this book, I am now successfully completed the reading rush. It has purple on the cover. It has a long ass title, more than 5 words, and what was the last one? Oh, I read it all in one spot, right here, in this chair. So that's pretty cool, and I'm gonna keep reading, and I'm gonna keep like maybe I will vlog when I watch The Princess Bride. I couldn't find it on TV. I'm having my uncle like find it for me. So that's pretty cool, and I will let you know when I do that, and then I 100% will have completed the reading rush, and I can just go back to reading Twilight. They're playing Breaking Dawn on TV right now. I'm gonna watch The Princess Bride in a second, but it's literally midnight, and I've been blessed. Thank you, Freeform, for having the rights to only Twilight and Harry Potter, and that's it. Thank you.
Cowboy, polish my horse's saddle. I want to see my face shining in it by morning.
I want everybody to know that I was in love with both of them, like the first time I watched this movie. Like, my bisexuality really jumped out, and it has not changed. Look at how beautiful their faces are. Like, I love this movie. Like, I just needed to be known that I love this movie. Also, Inigo Montoya can get it. So I finished The Princess Bride, and it was, first of all, just as good as I remember. Second of all, better than I remember, because now I get all the jokes that are references to the book. And then I turned off The Princess Bride, and I went back to the end of Breaking Dawn, which was on before, and it was like the very end. I watched like the last 10 minutes, but I gotta say, the end of this movie is basically like a lot of people silently smiling at each other, like, because they're happy that, you know, Renesmee is not like I don't know, gonna age herself to death in like 2 weeks or something like that. So it's a lot of silent smiling at each other, and then a solid 3 minutes of credits. But the credits are like, every time there was a person who was a named character, it shows a picture of them silently smiling and then their name. So it's like basically 5 minutes of silent smiling at the end of this movie, and it was very, very weird. But it is 2 in the morning now, and I'm gonna go to sleep. I stayed up this late because I took a nap. I took several naps today because I wasn't feeling well, and now I'm tired again, so I'm gonna go to sleep. Hey, so I am currently at a friend's house. I started pet sitting her family's pets yesterday, and I decided to hang out with them. I don't know if you can see them, but this is Charlie, and this right here is Tammy. And I thought they might be a little lonely, so I wanted to hang out with them. And I'm not reading anything today because I finished all the challenges. So I thought, yeah, hang out. Also, it's clearly a Twilight weekend because Eclipse is on TV, and I'm thriving. Hello, ma'am. How are you doing? Hi, so I just wanted to wrap up my reading vlog. It is like 7:30 on Sunday.
I'm clearly not updating that much today, and that's because I'm not reading anything today. I finished all the challenges, I felt like shit for 2 days, and now I feel better and I just want to relax and pet my dog, and I have to clean my room because my mom really wants me to. So I think today is done. I'm calling it a wrap on the reading rush, and I'm going to go over the books that I read this week and review how I felt about them. The first book I read and finished was The Princess Bride by William Goldman. I loved it. I was kind of questioning how I was supposed to feel about it at the beginning, but as the week's gone on, honestly, I'm just like, fuck it. I really liked it. I thought it was super cute, super funny. I love like books about things about love, like believe in the power of love, and like not just in like a happily ever after in like a romance novel or like a contemporary romance, but where a theme of the book is truly the power of true love. Like that's why I like Moulin Rouge so much. That's why I like The Princess Bride so much, and I just really enjoyed it. The next book I read and finished was Ink by Alice Broadway. I didn't like that one at all. And The Princess Bride was for the read and watch a book to movie adaptation, which I completed last night. I watched The Princess Bride, A++. So yeah, Ink by Alice Broadway. I didn't like it all. I thought it wasn't very interesting. The world building was really weird. The characters were really flat. And that one I read for an author's debut. Next, I read Life and Death by Stephanie Meyer. This was the book to meet the non-human challenge, non-human main character. I thought it was great. It's the gender-swapped Twilight, and I thought it was really funny and interesting. And I'm also like a hoe for Twilight. I watched clips today, and I watched Breaking Dawn last night, and I just think it's fun. I think it's funny and fun, and I'm not gonna hate on it, even though there are things about it that are definitely worth hating on. The last book I read and finished was The Countess and the Cowboy by Elizabeth Lane. I read that yesterday, and I used that book to meet the last 3 challenges. Book with a purple cover, book with more than 5 words in the title, and book you read all in the same spot because I just read it sitting down in my kitchen. I also used Life and Death for a book I meant to read last year. By the way, I forgot about that. I thought The Countess and the Cowboy was a pretty standard romance novel. It was the first Western that I've actually enjoyed, so that gives it a good mark in my book. And yeah, it was really pretty normal. I liked it. The other book that I started, and I haven't finished yet, and I don't know if I'm going to, is The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman. I think my audiobook rental is almost up, and I'm honestly just like not really feeling it, so I might just call it quits on that book, which I was originally going to use for both book with more than 5 words in the title and reading it all in the same place because I was listening to it while I drove around. That is going to be it. I had a great time participating in the reading rush. I can't wait for my next readathon, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!